and Rick from Back to the Passport. Today we're going to be reviewing our experiences at Sandals Resorts and kind of sharing what we wish we had known before we went the first time to help other travelers understand what to expect when going to a Sandals Resort for the first time. Now I will say most of our experience is focused on their resorts in Jamaica, as we have yet to explore some of the other islands, but we feel pretty confident that the experience is pretty similar no matter which resort you end up going to. So kicking us off, we're going to talk about the overall experience, which one reason we love going to Sandals is because it's adults only. I mean, great if you have kids, congratulations. But we are dinks, and we enjoy going places where we don't have to worry about kids splashing us in the pool. We have free access to the beach, and it's okay that we're drinking at 10 a.m.
Yeah, it's encouraged. Yeah. I
think we also really like the relaxed ambiance, and I will say it is very focused on romance. They love asking us a lot of questions and, oh, is this your husband? And how long have you been married? And oh, they do ask when we're having kids, which I'm like, oh, we're not having them here. Yep. Another thing with the overall experience, just one thing that was really good to know, or that I think would be good to know, is they do have shops at the resort. So like we've learned since then, since we like traveling with carry-ons, we like traveling as light as possible. So obviously we can't bring like big bottles of stuff, and someone needs a lot of sunscreen when we go to tropical places. So the shop is going to have that. So we just wait until we get to the resort to buy all of our sunscreen. You can also get like beach bags, any medications that you might have forgotten. I think they probably also sell like toothpaste and deodorant, like anything you might need for your trip, as well as any souvenirs that you want to take home.
Yeah, it's going to obviously be a little more expensive than buying it stateside, but I think it's worth, not having to worry about packing those things.
Yeah, I'd rather spend an extra $5 to $10 on my sunscreen than have to worry about like checking a bag just so I can bring my own. One other good thing to know, or at least like download before you do go, they do have an app. It's I will say an older style app.
It's gotten better over time.
It
does more now. Like they've got that the chat or the concierge where you can like request things or say, oh, you have a problem with your room, or if you can order room service through it too.
I think you can order room service, housekeeping. And it is a good app, like especially if you want to look for like a resort map or pull hours for things. Like one of the resorts we went to for our honeymoon had an on-site speakeasy, and it was some nights that it's like, okay, what's the password for it, or what time is it open? You can also pull up menus for the different restaurants or the bars to figure out like, oh, okay, we'd rather go here because they have these kinds of cocktails. It is, again, it's a good app. It's just keep expectations low.
It does what you need it to do.
It does. That's fair. It does do what you need it to do. Anything you want to add on the overall experience?
No, I think we covered it.
All right, so let's move on to like room types and accommodations and what you can expect there. So your standard room is obviously going to have a king-size bed. You'll have, a shower and a bath. You'll have a couch. Typically, some of them have like desk areas, or at least like a little area a table that you can put all your stuff on. Most of them also have like balconies. We have stayed in ones that either have like a walkout pool or a private pool, which that one was nice.
Those are nice.
The only thing I didn't like with that one in particular was our room was further away from everything. On the one hand, it was nice because they're trying to do the privacy thing, but it was also kind of a bit of a hike to go do anything else. I think we both really enjoyed last time we were at South Coast. The room we had was on the first floor, and it was just a walkout into the pool. But we still had our own kind of like jet in and then stairs down in. So it's still semi-private, but being able to have access to the pool.
Yeah, and that's if you're able to look it up beforehand, like where the room is in relation to the beach, because our experience when we stayed in the fancy villa with the private pool at Ochi, we couldn't get to the beach directly. Like we had to be golf carted. We had butler service that time, so our butler like just would get us on a golf cart and drive us, because you had to like cross a busy city street to get to the beach. So that resort felt a little disjointed. So if that's something that you're concerned about, just make sure to look that up beforehand.
Yep. I'll also say the rooms always come with like a stocked bar. So typically we have like 2 bottles of wine. We have learned just to request some sparkling every day because we like having a little bubbly while we watch the sunset. And then they have, I don't know, I'd say 5 different types of like hard liquors. They've got like a tequila, a rum, a vodka, a whiskey, a gin.
I think there's different levels. Okay, based on your room level. If you're
That's
like
true.
club level versus butler versus regular or whatever, there's different like qualities of
Yeah.
liquors. But
Yeah.
there'll be something in every room.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless.
You will not go thirsty at a Sandals Resort. I will just say that.
Yeah, they keep the refrigerator stocked, the mini fridge in the room, which it's up for grabs since alcohol is included, and you can even request, certain types of beers. If you don't like light beer, just get the regulars, like to tell them, and yeah,
Yep.
they'll make a note.
And then, like we said, through the app, you can always order more drinks. So they also stock your fridge with like soft drinks or mixers, as well as waters and juices. So if we ever ran out of any of that kind of stuff, we could just make a request and they'd bring the little drink cart on by and restock our fridge for us, which is
Super
very
easy.
nice. So we have done a few different room level types there. I don't think we've ever actually done just the standard, like regular room.
I don't think so. No.
So our first time to Jamaica, we decided to be all fancy and we booked a butler level room. And it was really fun, but I think we were also a little overwhelmed with just how attentive they were because you get a cell phone, so you can call your butler. So you do have 2 because they take shifts. It's not like you just have one person working for you 24/7. But you can call, make requests. They can book your dinner reservations. They can bring you cocktails on demand. They'll organize any on-site activities because we would tell them like, hey, we want to go snorkeling at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Like, okay, we'll put you on the list. They'd really just handle everything. We liked it, but again, I think we also just felt a little weird about it.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't like being waited on like that. And
or like they would call and they're like, do you need anything? And we're like, no, I just want to sit at the beach.
Like I have to answer the phone from the stranger. But
So-
yeah, it's not for everybody.
No.
And yeah, to each their own. But then we did the club levels, and that's like a nice in between.
Yep.
So it's pretty much a lot of the same benefits, just without a butler.
Yep.
So like you have access to a club level concierge that will still do the same things that your butler does. Just they're not there 24/7.
Yeah. Eventually, we do want to try the over-the-water bungalows, which are butler level rooms. So we'll just have to, I feel like such an ass saying, we'll just have to suck it up. But we will
For us. Oh.
But it is just something to be aware of. It is an interesting experience. It is very nice. But again, just for us, we can fend for ourselves. So like Rick said, the club level is that nice like medium of being able to have someone who can help you with stuff should you need it. But otherwise, you're kind of just left to your own devices. And then lastly, housekeeping, stop by every single day.
Yeah, I think it's daily. Yep. And they're pretty good about coming when you're gone. Like we go to the beach in the morning, and room will be cleaned up when you get back.
Yep.
So
Or like
pretty standard.
They were good at announcing if they're coming in because there were times that when we were in Ochi, we'd just be chilling in our private pool, and here comes housekeeping, and you can go for it. Yeah. Anything else you want to say on rooms or things people should know about?
No, I think it's good.
All right, so moving on to the food and drinks. So this is one thing that Sandals is pretty good at touting, which we also really like compared to staying at some more affordable all-inclusive resorts. I think the drinks are kind of a step above what you might find at other, again, just more affordable all-inclusive resorts. They are like top shelf drinks. You're always going to get them included. They have their own specialty cocktails. I mean, I'm a basic bitch, and I'm going to get a hummingbird every single day that we're there. And then they also have a really fun, like, Bob Marley cocktail. I mean, you can ask for probably anything.
Yeah, they're really good bartenders. And they do have, like, a daily drink, like a special, like you said, the hummingbirds. But yeah, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And there's bars everywhere.
There's a bar every time.
There's a bar on every corner. There's a bar.
There's a bar in your room.
Yeah.
There's a bar 5 feet away. There's going to be a restaurant 5 feet away.
You can probably order a drink from any employee that you see walking around. Like,
maybe not a lifeguard, but The restaurants, I do think the food quality there is pretty good as well. Like,
Well, you want to talk about a step above. Like, yeah, their food is legit.
Yep.
Like, and so, like some of the other, like the all-inclusive resorts, like in Mexico that we've been to, like there's different restaurants, but you can tell behind the scenes it's all the same food, just dressed up a little bit differently.
Yep.
But it's like all different. It's all specialty. It's all like good stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll be going to Japan soon, and so I cannot wait to have sushi there. But I honestly think some of the best sushi I've ever had is at Sandals South Coast. Oh.
No, definitely the best sushi I've ever had is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We make sure this is probably our favorite resort. We've been there twice. We always make sure to at least have 1, maybe 2 nights at the sushi restaurant, or at least our last night. We're just going to stop in for like a small little plate because, it was so good.
Sushi on the sand.
Yep.
It's delicious.
And then they also typically have like another Asian restaurant, Italian place. Some of them have like a steakhouse or like American type food. And then they're also going to have like the quick service stuff. So they've got like a pizza place that has the most amazing seafood pizza. Oh, it's so good.
It's pretty good.
And then you can always get like jerk chicken or like fried plantains. All of that kind of stuff is pretty easy to find. Yeah, I don't think you will be in any danger of going thirsty or starving at any of these resorts.
And most of those restaurants will close at a certain time, but there's like late night food available with like room service I think some of the smaller quick serve places, or maybe one of them will stay open kind of late.
Like, Jerk Shack does.
Yeah, but you can get room service 24 hours?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or it goes until like 3 in the morning.
Or something like it'll be a limited menu after a certain hour or something. But there's always a chance to get something to eat or drink. Yeah.
Definitely. One thing to note about the restaurants, though, if you're not doing like butler or club level, you do have to make reservations. So typically when the restaurant opens, they typically were open around like 11 noon.
Yeah.
Around then, just stop by and you can talk to the hostess. You can make your reservations. You can book a few nights out. They're just going to ask for your last name and your room number, but it's pretty easy. Or again, if you do upgrade and do a different level of room, like the club level, you can just go into the club concierge and have them make all of your reservations for you. Anything else on food and drinks? All right. So moving on to some of the activities. So they do offer free activities as well as some paid opportunities or off-site excursions. We haven't really done any of the off-site. When we're there, we typically like to just hang out and be on the beach, just relax and be there together. But they also do have like kayaking, they have stand-up paddleboarding, they have the little, I don't know, those mini catamaran boats that you can take out.
Yeah.
We've never actually done that though.
No.
But I'm also not really good in boats. I tend to get seasick, so probably a good idea that we don't do that after all that drinking.
Wind-powered boats scare me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do kayaking, we'll do stand-up paddleboarding. Although, was it stand-up paddleboarding when we were like blowing away and they had to like run down the beach after us?
Yeah, we got blown out to sea almost. It was a very windy day, and yeah, I think we got blown past the
red flag
resort line, and we weren't going to be able to make it back.
I mean, it's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. We were kind of panicking because like when we had gotten the boards, it was later in the day, and like they do have flag systems out to let you know like if you're not supposed to be out in the water or if you can or can't do certain activities. We got them while activities were still running, and then, we just kind of got blown down the beach, and here they come running down trying to chase us down.
It was nice. It was reassuring that they knew we were out there and came for us. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And it's very easy. I think the activities typically start at like 9 or 10 in the morning. I think they go until mid-afternoon, or unless the weather has taken a turn. You literally just walk up and get a life jacket, get your equipment, tell them your room number, and off you go. We also like to take advantage of snorkeling. We've brought our own snorkel gear before. Obviously, they're going to provide that as well. We really enjoy that. We typically go,
You have to make a reservation for that.
You do.
Yeah. Like everything else is just like walk up. But yeah, you have to, because they get on the boat, take you out to the reef. And but we'll do that a few times during the trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big snorkeling fan. I just like floating around and looking at fish.
Yeah. And like the coral out there is really pretty. You always see fish. It's always a good time. And yeah, they take like the boat only takes you like 10 minutes away probably out into the water for it to be deep.
Not that far. No. Yeah.
Yep. Also for activities, so this is important for me. They do have a gym on site. It is limited equipment. I think it's typically like 2 or 3 treadmills, an elliptical, some stationary bikes, and then like free weights. But if you just do want to get a workout in to prepare for all the food and drink that you will be taking in, it is a really nice amenity. They also have bottles of water there, so when you're done with your workout, they have towels, all that good stuff. I will say do not expect much for air conditioning. They do have fans in there, but at least in like Jamaica, it's a tropical climate. It's very humid. It is going to be very hot in those buildings. I do think the AC like in the restaurants and your accommodations work really well, but some of the other areas expect to be a little bit warm. Let's talk about the spa.
Spa, yeah, that's something we always do. Gotta get a massage. Gotta go to the fancy spa. Never disappoints.
No.
Although one time, so we did a couples massage on the beach one time.
Oh yeah.
And that's hit or miss. The day that we were out there, it was very windy. So not just our towels and sheets and everything were being blown around. I thought I was going to flash everybody, but we got basically just sandblasted by all this sand blowing off the beach. So if you know the weather ahead of time, it would be best to do not on a windy day. But yeah, since then we've always done indoors.
Inside. Yep. Yeah. It sounds a lot more romantic than it ended up being.
It can be, but it just wasn't that day for us.
Wasn't that day.
Yeah.
And we've booked massages that take place, in like the garden room, and then we've gotten like champagne afterwards. We did one where we had like a candle lighting ceremony, and then they used the hot wax from that on us. I think going to the spa is definitely worth it. The therapists were fantastic. They really listened to you. And again, they're really trying to make this a romantic and enjoyable experience for both of you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, lastly, under activities before we move on, I do want to talk about the photography session. So they do have professional photographers at the resorts. We took advantage of this the first time we went just because it was kind of our engagement trip. And then we turned those photos. You can kind of see one back up there. We turned these into our engagement photos because they were so gorgeous. Again, something that you do have to book in advance. You will see the photographers walking around the resort. They'll take candid photos of you as you're just enjoying your vacation. And you can book them for a private session. So we did that one night at sunset. And I really liked our photographer for that.
Yeah.
He was so nice. He was so fun. And he was like, whatever you guys want to do. So we took some really goofy photos.
And those are nice because they're no obligation. Like they'll do a whole hour-long shoot or whatever, and you don't have to buy them. You go to the Photoshop later and look at your pictures, and you can buy 1, 2, all of them, whatever you want. But you're not obligated to get them.
I didn't think they were very pushy about it either. Because our engagement one, we knew we were going to be buying like a book and like all the digital downloads. But we've done the photo shoots other times, and yeah, we can go in and we're just like, I really only like one. And they're like, okay, do you want it digital? Do you want it printed? Do you want both? But they're not like, oh, well, you really should buy like 10 so then you get this package.
Yeah, they're not trying to upsell you. And although, they're not cheap, but still they're not pushy about it.
No. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate that. And again, I just think it's really fun. And like Rick said, there's no obligation. So worst case scenario, you don't like some of the photos that you get. Best case scenario, you have some really fun professional photos of your time at this really romantic resort, and typically with really romantic settings. All right, so moving on, we do want to talk a little bit about tipping because I feel like this is something a lot of people do question. We've gone on lots of cruises. We've talked about cruises before, and I think that's an area that people aren't really sure about the tipping culture there as well. We've talked about it on a different video where when you book a cruise, you can either prepay your tips or go on the cruise expecting to leave a tip for your room attendant. At Sandals, there is no required tipping unless you are doing butler level service. They do, I wouldn't say expect, and it's not like required, but it's just a general etiquette and rule.
I would say they actually encourage not tipping. Like I said, except for the butler level.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not there to they're not they're not there to make, thousands of dollars in tips every night. Like
Yep.
they're yeah.
Yeah. I would say, like, I guess maybe the only other thing I would think of tipping is like the luggage handlers when they're taking you to your room. But if you gave them like, $1 per bag, I feel like that'd be enough. But yeah, otherwise, like, they're never like out there looking for a tip. It's just very much expected that it's already all inclusive. If you want to add on other things that come at a cost, that's great, but it's not expected. All right, lastly, we do want to talk about flights and airport transfers. So airport transfers are included in your accommodation price. So when you get to, at least like in our experiences, since we typically go to the Jamaica ones, once you get to Montego Bay, you get through customs. You're going to go into the main part of the airport, and there are just lounges for all the different resorts everywhere. You go to the Sandals, they're going to check you in, they're going to find out what shuttle you need to be put on. You can get some beer, you can get snacks, you can get some drinks.
They got beer on tap and food and yeah.
Yep, so they have like a place for you to hang out and wait until it's time for you to get on your shuttle. They'll take care of your luggage, so it's really your time to like decompress, relax, use the bathroom one more time. Because some of these shuttle rides are long, depending on which resort you stay at. Again, you most likely will fly into Montego Bay. What was the longest ride we had? Like 2 or 3 hours or something? Was it 2 hours?
I don't think it was more than 3. No,
Okay.
it was like probably...
I know we took a bathroom break on it.
Huh.
Don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Huh. Well, again, at least in Jamaica, the roads, they're mostly single lane. They do drive very quickly, but if you do hit traffic, there's really no getting around it. So just be prepared that the drive from the airport, again, depending on which resort you pick, might be long. And then also coming home from the hotel. So they'll coordinate all of it. They know what shuttle they need to put you on, especially if they know your flight information. They'll come collect your bags. You'll hang out in the lobby. They are going to make sure to get you to the airport super early, so you have plenty of time to get through, TSA, security. Because there have been times that we end up having like 2 hours to kill at the airport.
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yep. But again, it's with the understanding of they'd rather have you there too early than have you have to rush through everything. So with flights, you can book flights through Sandals' website. Often they are doing like packages. We're kind of torn on when we go back if we would book flights with them.
Yeah, because when you book through them, of course you have that peace of mind that if something goes wrong,
they know
they'll fix it and they know and everything. But it's like you're at the whim of their partners, and they was it American Airlines?
Yep.
And we go through Texas, and we have not had good experiences in Texas. So yeah, maybe next time we might just do our own flights.
Yeah. I think we would price it out just to see if we actually are getting a good deal. But like Rick said, coming home from our honeymoon, when we were at the airport in Jamaica, they basically told us like, well, you're getting to Texas. And then you're not going home from there. And we're like, okay, well, this is nice. Now, luckily, we had purchased insurance against that trip. So we were able to get on a Southwest flight from Dallas and be able to get home. And then we obviously had to bill the insurance company for that. But like Rick said, you are kind of at the whim of the airline. And like, since your reservation isn't booked directly through you, you have to like contact them. And it is just, given some of the bad experiences we've had, we're a little hesitant to do it again. But I think if it came down to they have a really good price, I think we would chance it.
I think what we ended up doing in Texas they were trying to put us on another American flight that was like 2 days,
like 2 days later.
2 days later, and we're like, screw that. We just booked our own Southwest flight like 12 hours later.
Yep.
And then filed a claim with the insurance, and yeah.
Yep. So that might be also something to consider, booking travel insurance. On bigger trips like this, we tend to insure our vacations just in case something like this happens, and we definitely learned that lesson the hard way. When we came home from our cruise in July, we had not purchased insurance because we're like, no, it'll be fine. We're great. And then our trip just hit a bunch of snafus getting back into the United States. So lesson learned.
Yeah.
Sometimes insurance really pays off.
And we've had to cash in on it, and
Yep.
it was worth it.
It was definitely worth it. But again, just take a look at the flight options available, and depending on where you live, you might be able to bypass Dallas completely, which would be amazing for you, and I'd be very jealous. But definitely something that you want to consider. Anything else you want to add on flights or airport transfers?
No, we got it.
All right. Well, that wraps up kind of our review or video on what to expect when staying at a Sandals resort. Please feel free to check out our blog at backtothepassport.com. Feel free also to leave a comment if there are any other like couples resorts that you really recommend going to that we need to check out, because we're definitely open to that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Ciao.
Ciao.
So our first time out to Sandals, we decided to be...
4:58 and 11 seconds p.m.